Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be doing day 3 this evening of the 12 days of junk journal gift ideas from the Facebook group Friendly Junk Journal People by Linda Israel. I apologise for the PJs because I'm colour coordinating today with the kit. Today is about creating envelopes and decorating them. So I decided I was just going to do a craft along and what I call winging it. So you just grab a load of bits and see what comes out. That's what I've decided to do today. I'm going to be using this kit of Linda's. I've shown it before. It's the Christmas Peacock kit, and it was the kit that Linda brought out last year, and I just absolutely love this kit. I love the colours in it, and it is so more me at this time of year than the traditional red and green. And I just really love all the elements in this. I mean, that peacock, it's just stunning, isn't it? So this is the kit I'm going to be using on my envelopes today. So that's the pages of the kit, and I will be cutting some of those out while I'm doing it. I've got a lovely little box here of different types of ribbon and bits of sari silk and all sorts. And I even got some lovely peacock ribbon there that I might be able to use. And some of Linda's gorgeous stencils. And I'm going to be using this one today. This is the Bella Rose, and it's one of the first ones Linda made, and it is absolutely stunning. If I pop it that way, you'll be able to see it a little bit clearer. I think you can see the length of it then. I will link the names of these stencils because, you know, my brain, and after having a fit for a few hours, I'm kind of like a bit woolly-headed today. I've used this one, and it's gorgeous. It's like a Baroque type one, and then this one I know is cogs. This one is all cogs. But again, it's an absolutely stunning stencil, and I will link the stencils and Linda's her website and where you can get these later. Now, what I've done so far, I've done a tiny little bit of prep, and I do mean a tiny little bit of prep. I took some coffee dye paper and I've sprayed one stencil on this piece here. I'm actually going to bring you up a bit more. You seem to be falling back down again today. So I've sprayed onto this one. This one I've just left as it is. And then this one, I'm not sure if you can actually see the glitter and shine on this, but I've used the cogs on it and it's given a lovely glimmer, but it's not that obvious, the stencils. I mean, you can see them, but it's quite muted, which is giving me a lovely effect on that envelope. Whereas on this one, with the paler colouring, you can see the cogs a lot clearer. So I'm just going to spray another one up. Get my little spray box out. Now, whoops, there it goes, big spray box. Let's just pop that in there. And grab another one for the top. I do apologise, I'm stretching all over the place today, aren't I? So I'm going to use the Bella Rose on this. This is another coffee dye piece of paper, and you can see where I left the pans that I used for drying in the oven. I didn't clean them off because I like that effect of having the two-tone colouring on mine. Now, I've been using Tattered Angels today, and Linda does some amazing colours of the Tattered Angels. She has one set that is specifically for her peacock kits, and they are absolutely gorgeous. And I just love them. We used to be able to get them in the UK quite easily from the craft box, but she stopped doing them, Anna. So I thought I'd use this gold, and I know Linda has a gold, and it's Cosmic Shimmer by R. Phil Martin. So I'm going to use that one. And remember, when you're using mica powders, don't shake them like you would with a bottle of ketchup, because otherwise all the mica powder gets stuck in the nozzle, and then you have to spend an hour trying to get it back out again. So I'm just going to spray this on here, get some lovely gold going. I think this will make quite a nice effect on the background paper, and particularly at this time of year, because you want it to be a little bit more festive, don't you? And I'm going to put a tiny little bit of the deep bronze colour that I was using before as well, just to give it a squidge there. And then I'm going to get a page and pop it over the top. Now this is what Linda Israel calls mop-up pages. And the lovely Angelica, she absolutely loves mop-up pages. So I'll have to send her some mop-up pages from doing these today. If you've never seen one of Linda's lives, you really must come and join her lives. They are just so much fun. You earn craft bucks, you earn bucks for being on the live and for commenting, you know, just for being there, you get them. And you can use them for games. And she has giveaways, and the giveaways are free. The only giveaways that aren't free per se are the journals that she gives away right at the very end of her lives. What she does is you can make any dollar amount gift to Linda to help her carry on with her work, you know, to help her fund her internet and, you know, making the journals and that she gives away. And then she does a draw of those who have donated, and that is right at the end. But the other games are all free, and you can get things like mop-up pages, or isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? This one needs to dry. Or she, you know, she gives away items that she's got, and oh, there's all sorts of different things that she gives away, and they're absolutely lovely. And some of the girls donate as well. I'm hoping you can catch all that glitter and gleam. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? So I'm just going to pop that away, because obviously I won't be using these because they're wet. So I'm just going to pop them out of the way. I sincerely hope that the cat doesn't come in and lay on them, because you know what cats are like. They like to come in and they like to get into your craft stuff. Right, so these are my pages that I'm using them now. Now what I've done so far is I've sewn round them. And I thought I'd use different colours and different ideas for my envelopes today. Now, of course, you can use kit paper as well. If you're going to use kit paper, remember to copy on both sides of the paper that you're going to be using. That way, when you open the envelope, you can see what's inside. It's not, you just don't have just a white piece at the back. Now this one, it's actually come from a book, and it's got sponges on it. It's a vintage page, so I've sewn around that. So I'm just going to cut off the threads. Whoops, hitting the tripod, that'll be fun. So I'm just going to snip that away, so that this one, the reason I chose this one is because this looks like a snowflake, doesn't it? This sponge here. It's a shame I couldn't have folded it in a way you could have seen the whole lot, but it's still enough that you can see this lovely sponge here. And of course this one I've used the bronze on it, and it was a very dark coffee paper that I did this one with, and that's folded down there. And then this one, and it's so easy to make these envelopes. You literally just fold up and fold down, that is it. I don't measure, I just, you know, I literally have my piece of paper, and then I fold up, and I think to myself, well, I want a little bit of a gap here, and then I need the flap, and that's how they come. And then all you do is literally just glue down the sides, and you've got your envelope. Now what I do quite often is I will put these in the middle of a signature. I've got a journal just here, and I can show you what I will do. I'll take all the tags out that I'm working with now. I find the very middle. What I will do is I will take the envelope, and the envelope will be sewn into the signature right in the middle of your journal, and once it's sewn in, you can then fold this over and glue this down, and then you'll have an envelope right in the middle of your signature for popping tags and things like that in. So let me just cut this one off as well. That's my bases. I've used a lovely zigzag on mine today. So let's get started. So I'm just going to have a look at some ephemera over here that will fit on these, and I think I'd like to use these. I think these are really, really pretty, aren't they? So I'm just going to quickly get out of the way and get the smaller scissors. And I think I'm going to pop this one out here. Now in the UK, when we fussy cut, we cut right up to the very, very edge of the image. Whereas in America, you do what we call kiss cutting. And the first time I came across kiss cutting, I was watching Anna Griffin, and she had some kiss cut vellum. You know, she had some, it was numbers, and you know, she's very, very famous for her roses and things like this. And I won't put it that side. Actually, I think he'll go up there because I've made quite a big pocket, haven't I, on that one? Yeah, I think he'll be quite nice up there. Let's have a look what I can pop underneath this. I've got some lace here from a curtain. I think that might look really pretty, wouldn't it? Put some lace underneath it. Right, let's get the scissors. Now what is lovely with Linda's is, because she's got the black line outlining all the images, if you have a scan and cut, you can scan it into your scan and cut, and you can get a lovely cut that way. You haven't got to sit there and spend hours and hours fussy cutting out. I might need to make that a little bit smaller. Let's have a look. Yes, just a tiny bit smaller. And more designers are actually thinking about that, I think, because when you do your designs, you're not only designing it, you've then got to cut all that out, and you've got to prep it all so you can show people what you've designed. And I think it's a lovely idea to, you know, be able to fussy cut out without having to have too much, you know, time spent on it, particularly if you're busy and you're making a bulk load of journals, because obviously nowadays, particularly at this time of year, you're trying to get as much done as you can, aren't you? So let's see if that'll pop underneath that as well. There, I think that would be quite pretty on there. So let's get my Fabri-Tac. Now, the other glue you can use for fabric that's really, really good is Yoo-hoo glue. Yoo-hoo glue was always the one that you turned to here in the UK for all sorts of projects, but you know, basically fabric and wool and things like that. I mean, we've been using it for years. And then of course Fabri-Tac came out, and everybody just loves the Fabri-Tac. It's that instant grab, isn't it? You've not got to wait for it to dry. The first journal I made, I've not put any distress on that, and I better do that quickly before I stick it down. The first journal I made, I used Collal glue, and that's very much what those at Crafter's Companion use, isn't it? And it was ages for the fabric to dry. You know, I couldn't do anything with it until it had dried, you know. And I soon learned, you know, make sure you get a decent glue if you want it to dry quickly. Yeah, I think that looks quite pretty on there. Now I'm wondering whether, I've got lace here. I'm just wondering whether a bit of lace should go on the bottom. Just finish it off. No, I think that'll be too much on that because it's quite a busy envelope. What else have I got in my box? I think if I put too much on, it's going to weigh it down. Let's have a look. I've got some. No, I think I'm going to leave him like that, because I think if I put too much on it, it's going to detract from the star effect that I wanted to do. Now, when you're doing your envelopes, there are several ways of deciding how you're going to close it. Some people use buttons. I've got, I like to use my homemade buttons, you know, with the cardboard, where you punch out a 1-inch circle and you do 2 on top of one another, and then the third one has the image that you wish to do your button. So that makes, you know, you can actually see that's what you want to do, so it coordinates with whatever you are using. And another way is to use the little Velcro dots. They look lovely too, because it closes and it opens so easily. And then the other one, another one that you can use is if you put a strip down, you can tuck it in a strip, but you need to have this tapered to go into a strip one. And the nicest one that I think you can use is to use something like this, and you just tuck it right inside. Let's just pop him out quickly. I'd love to know if any of you are doing December dailies, or if you are making and following along with our 12 days. Because I know obviously everybody's so busy this time of year. It's nice to have 5 minutes just for you to do your little bit of craft and to have some fun doing what you like to do best. See that will stick and hold on there. Now you only glue a tiny bit, because obviously you want to be able to fit your paper in. And the best way to do it is, you know, find the middle and gauge it, and then you know that's going to pop in and out. So I'm going to let that settle, and then, oops, that will pop in there. There we go. So that's my first. It's quite a simple envelope, that one, isn't it? It's quite simple, but it's pretty. Because sometimes you don't really want to go over the top, do you, with your envelopes? So this one I think would be lovely with some lace on. Yeah, I'm going to pop some lace at the top. I think that lace would look so lovely there. Pin. Again, Fabri-Tac, because you're using your lace in it, and it's a cotton lace, this one. Amazon do a lovely packet of cotton lace and more like your polyester type lace, you know, white lace, and it is really, really reasonably priced when you're starting out. And what I will do with this after I've finished my live, I will actually sew across this, and I think that will just make it look, always looks lovely if you've spent a little bit of time sewing on your items when you put them in a journal. It just shows that you spent a little bit of extra time and care, particularly if you're giving them away as a gift. And of course, when you make your envelopes, just think what you can put in them. You can put some vintage papers in them. You can put some tea or coffee dye papers that you've made. You could put a tag in them. A lovely tag would look really lovely in one of these. You've got so many different things that you can do. And it's, you know, to get a little envelope like that, it would just be so nice. I think it would be just such a treat to have something like that come through the post. Now I'm going to use this sleigh, I think, now. I think he is just so cute. Now I was watching the girls' videos for the first day, and it's amazing how people all interpret things so differently. It's like at school when they used to say to you, write a story on so-and-so, you know, and they'd give you the title, and usually it's what did you do in the summer holidays, or what did you get for Christmas? I think they were the ones where the teacher didn't have much imagination. And how people interpret things, it's amazing to see what comes up, because obviously we haven't seen theirs either. You know, we have to wait until they all get published. Yeah, I really love that. I love that wee sleigh. Gosh, this bottle's being difficult. Squeeze. I've got tennis elbow from picking up the grandson. He's 16 months and he's a right little live wire. He really is, and he's as cute as a pudding. But Nana's now having to pick him up with her left hand instead of her right because I've totally messed my arm up because he's so heavy. Right, so that's another one. So there we are, 2 already. And they're so simple to do. You don't have to do a lot on these just to get some really pretty little envelopes. And people can see you've spent a little bit of time and care on them, can't they? Now, let's have a look. What else have we got under here? Where's those snowmen? Here we are. And we all love a snowman. I was saying to somebody the other day, we are actually waiting on snow. It is about 1 degree today and snow is imminent. Anytime now we are going to get snow. And the first thing that happens is suddenly the estate is covered in wee snowmen. Everywhere you look, you see all these snowmen. The kids just go crazy, they just get out. And then where we are here, we're actually on a hill. And there's amazing slopes that the kids can use to go down with their sleighs. There really are. And the kids have a whale of a time. They'll come back, you know, with their bright red hands, you know, where the snow has gone through their gloves. Here we are. Well, that blue matches this so beautifully, doesn't it? Let's cut the snowman out and see how we're going with this one. If you hear kids, it's downstairs because I'm actually in a flat and I can hear they're in the kitchen. He has 2, she has 2, and then they have 1 between them. So when they're all together, that's 5 children. And I don't know how she does it. I really don't. They do all sorts, you know, she has them down there baking, and they're very much, they love to go walking. They absolutely love walking. Just thinking that might look nice like that, but how do I use the snowman? Snowman's a bit big for that one, isn't it? Oh, and then I'm going to pop that down the bottom there. And I think what I will do is I will actually get a button, you know, my buttons to tie that up. Any bits that I do off screen, what I will do is I will take photos so that you can see the finished bits, you know, where I've sewn. Things like that. Or I might actually just splice 2 videos together. It might be easier to do that. Yeah. Yes, I do like that. I think that's lovely. I'd love to know if you do your own dyeing, you know, tea dyeing and coffee dyeing, and how you do it. Can you hear the kids? Oh dear. I think they're being little monkeys down there for Mummy the now. Sounds like they're running around and being like little nuisances. Yeah, I do it 2 different ways. I like the dunk it in the colouring, you know, whatever you've made up, your Kool-Aid or your food colouring, you know, tea, coffee, and cooking them in the oven. And that's how I got these lovely patterns on my paper like this. I've got what they're called, it's to make moon biscuits. I'm sure you can see that shape. And I thought I would actually try using one of the trays because I've got 3 of them and they're really, really quite large. So I thought I'd use one for my dyeing, and it's given the most beautiful effect. There. I love that one, it's so simple. And this one, because you've got quite a lot of pattern on it, I will pop Velcro dots on that one so that it's easy to close and it still looks pretty. You've not got anything detracting from what you've done. So far we've got 3 really pretty envelopes coming on here. And one more blue one left. So what are we going to pop on this one? I think this one I'm going to put my buttons on. Let's try doing something different with the buttons. Now I'm just wondering if we can fit the snowman on. If we put him on, is it going to cover too much up? It's not really, is it? I think it might work. We can even fit him on the top. Yeah, if I cut him down just a tiny bit, it'll even fit there. Norella finds the most amazing things to create with. If you've not seen any of Calico Collage's images and her kits, do go over to her Etsy store. That's Norella. And then Linda, she has her own website. Linda will make background pages and things like this. She's very much a mixed media artist. When you watch her videos, you will see that she loves to create with things. And when she's creating, you are fascinating. I mean, she's absolutely brilliant at doing like jelly prints and things like this. And you learn so much just from watching her. And she's such an inspiration to the community that do watch. Now, the videos, they go out on a Monday, and it's afternoon for Yukon, Oklahoma time, which I think is CST, Central Time. And when they go out, it's about 3:30, I think. I will actually check the times, because for me, it's something like 9:30 at night. You know, it's completely different. And then Thursday, she does it in the morning. It's a lot earlier. And when she does the Thursday ones, for me, that's about 6:30 of an evening. Which, of course, is a really lovely time for me. So I don't always get the ones on a Monday because it's just too late in the day. Look at those colours on there. I think those colours look really well, don't they? Put the bits of maybe over there. I could do with just something underneath it, maybe some of this. Now this stuff I got from Halloween, oh gosh, about 3 or 4 years ago. You'll probably recognise it. It's the sort of stuff that you would put on, like, you know, when you're dressing the kids up as a mummy or something. And I absolutely love it for popping underneath clusters. I really do. And it goes a heck of a long way too. It just lasts and lasts. And of course you can stretch it and play with it and do all sorts with it. So I'll just pull it out a little bit and decide how you're going to do it. So let me pop that bit on first. Whoops. It's all sticking to me today. I will say, using the Sugar Bell bottle, the glue lasts a really long time because you know you've got a really lovely fine nozzle on it. And if you've got bad hands, I'd like to give a little shout out for Sophia. She's having real problems with her thumbs at the moment. And Sophia, you will know because she does the bundles with the beautiful sari silks. And she's in India. She's such a lovely lass. And when the arthritis gets in your hands, I know because I get the fibromyalgia and the arthritis. And I know Angelica does too. She's getting it in her thumbs. It really, really is horrible. And so many of us are at that age now where, you know, we are getting these things. So to find something that's going to help you stay crafting, which I think is the most important thing, so you can stay crafting and you know it's not going to be too much of a strain on you. I think it's amazing. I can't remember who used it first, but it was Tracy Fox who I actually saw the bottle with when she first, you know, our Tracy did it. Whoops. Making funny noises now. Maybe it's speaking and saying, yes, you've all got to come and get the Sugar Bell bottles. I mean, Amazon have been really, really good at supplying them. They really have. And, you know, you don't have to wait that long a time. I think it's about a week and a half to 2 weeks at the moment. There was a time when you were really having to wait a long time for them to come through. Yeah, I think he sat down nicely. Yeah. I deliberately didn't distress this one because the colouring matches the outside, and I thought if I put the brown on, you know, the vintage photo, I think it will actually then not look right with the other colours that are underneath it. And I think he is adorable. So I'm going to leave it there for a second, and then I will come back once I have done the little bit of sewing, and we will then glue some of these down. So I'll see you in a little bit, okay? Bye. Welcome back, everyone. I've sewed on some bits and got these into a situation where I can show you where we're going to go next. Now this one, I've just sewn the lace on across the top, and you can see inside here, and I thought I was going to leave this one just as it is because I think it looks really lovely being simple. So I'm just going to pop the glue on. Again, use a fabric glue for sealing your envelopes up if you're going to be using sewing on them, because obviously the cotton is fabric basically, and you want to make sure that your envelope is going to be sturdy enough for whatever you decide to pop in it. So that's that one. I'm just going to pop that underneath the sledge bit. I think that looks really lovely. So that's that one. This one I've just put, I'm not sure if you can actually see in this light, but I've just put a little bit of the Distress Oxide around just to bring the colour up a little bit, and I've popped a little bit of seam binding on the side. And this one I've sewn the 2 buttons on. These are the handmade buttons. You literally punch holes, punch out circles. You don't need the holes, they can stay where they are. In card. I use things like, you know, when you get your headache pills, things like that, or something you might have, get your cat biscuits or whatever, and you just punch out 2 1-inch circles and glue them together. You can see the back, that's white there, and you can probably just see where I've glued them together there. And then you decide on the image that you want on the front, and you pop that on the front. And then to make the holes, I got a button first, and I used a button as a template to mark where the holes would be, and then I used my crocodile to punch the holes in. Quite easy to make these buttons. Now remember, when you're going to sew your buttons on, make sure you sew your buttons on before you seal your envelope down. I have in the past done it the other way around, and it can be done. You can actually sew it on, but it is hard work. So I've put some lovely vintage lace down the side here and here just to finish it off, and I've sewn the 2 buttons on. Sometimes people like to cover this up with a little circle or something, but it isn't necessary. Remember, the people receiving these are going to be journalists, you know, people who do the junk journals, so, you know, they know about, you know, making something that's homemade and handcrafted, and they will appreciate the effort that you've put into doing these for them. And they will be so lovely, just as an envelope on its own with goodies in, or popped into a wee journal, or you could even make a little file folder for them. So I'm just going to pop those 2 sides down, and then I've got some thread just here. Sorry, Georgia. You were a bit cattywampus then, didn't you? Sorry, I think I'm not sure. So I've got some waxed thread here just to seal it up with. And it is as simple as this. You just tie on your thread. Okay. And then once your thread's on, you just wind it round in a figure of 8. Oops, it's got caught on there. So we want them to go underneath that one, doesn't it? And that's it. That's as easy and as simple an envelope as you can make, and it's a lovely way to close your envelopes using this method. I just think it looks so lovely. So that's that one. And this one, the one that I kept really simple, I've sewn round this bit, okay, and then I've just, you can see inside, it's quite easy to sew round, and that's a bit of spare thread. So I'm just going to glue this bit down. That will behave itself. Sew that one down. Like that. And then what I'm going to use on this one are these little dots, you know, the Velcro dots. The easiest way to get these in position is to do this. So you pop that on top of there, make sure your fingers don't get stuck to it, and then you just guide it, and that's your fastening there. That's my other envelope. I really like that one. I really think that one's so lovely. Now this one, this is the mop-up page. You know, when I did my spraying, I did this one. No, this is the normal one, and then this is the mop-up page. And look how pretty that has turned out. It looks so lovely, and you can really see the glinting on that on the outsides. This is the other one I did earlier before I came on camera, and you can even use this. Although the inside hasn't got a pattern on it, you can either put on a piece of vintage paper, music paper, or you can just spray over it. You don't have to actually use a stencil. You could just spray over it, or you can take your distress oxides or your distress inks and just make a pattern on it, so that when you fold it up, it's this bit here that you need to have a little bit of colouring. Or you can even use a kit page in there. So it doesn't really matter what paper you've got. There are ways and means of making such a pretty envelope. So I thought you might see that mop-up page. Now this one, all I've done is I've popped some vintage lace across the back there, and then I've tied it up with a really, really pretty piece of gold ribbon. Now this ribbon came from Plum Boutique, who is the one that Angela Kerr uses, and they do some really, really pretty ribbons. There's another one here, and this one's really lovely as well. This is a bird one that I really like. So if you're in the UK, do go and check out Plum Boutique, because they really have the most gorgeous laces over there, because that's something we are quite hard up of over here, so to speak. You know, us in the UK envy you for the laces and things like that you can get, and like your bling, but you know, we get the books. So all in all, get a pen pal in America if you're in England, and vice versa, or in Canada, and you can share, can't you? you'll get all the things, all the goodies that you will like. So I hope you've enjoyed playing along with this today, and you will make some of these envelopes, because I think they will look so pretty inside a journal, or if you want to do a folio, you might decide to do a folio, and you could even pop your Christmas cards in one, couldn't you? So that's my lovely make today for creating envelopes, and I will see you on day 4 tomorrow. So good evening, everybody. Bye.